Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Couple of gin and tonics later. As you can imagine, I've just watched my video back that I did on my channel, and I made reference to Harry. When he got to use a blanket because Benjamin's got the front door open. He's doing something with his fucking motorbike. The reference to Harry being naked, and me saying, there was this time. So I thought I'd tell you the story of when I ran stark naked, and I mean stark naked, lost my fucking mind. Right, so I need to build the scene. Picture this. You're, how old would I have been? I must have been about 31. And I was on the run, living in a caravan with Graham. Bless him. I mean, he gave up everything for me. We went on the run, and he had a flying club and he had 5 aeroplanes. He just gave the lot up for me. So, I mean, the guy was a total keeper, as you know. You know Graham. But Graham just took everything in his stride. But this was the one time. And this is why I didn't cry at the funeral. I was determined. I'm not going to let him down. Because, oh my God. Well, I'm on the run. I've had a baby under not ideal circumstances. Have got the Daily Mail on my fucking case. And other various newspapers. The Daily Mail, I mean, bless them. They just want to sell a story, basically. They're a very, very broadsheet. They do lots of stories. I know people think they're right-wing. I don't think they're particularly right-wing, left-wing. They're everything. Actually, oddly enough, my biggest enemies was the Guardian newspaper, the Observer, the Mirror, all the left-wing. Isn't that interesting? Because I don't like to talk about politics, and I don't know much about it. My mother was a Conservative county councillor. A lot of people think she was an MP, but she wasn't. She was in the United Kingdom. You have MPs, members of Parliament, who go to, where Big Ben is, and then you have local government. My mother was local government, and my dad was a lawyer. Not a judge, because a lot of people say my dad was a judge. And he was the under-sheriff of Sussex. So my parents were kind of hoi polloi. They were both staunchly conservative. And I mean, that's back in the day. Margaret Thatcher kind of era. I don't know what I am. I tend to just sort of follow common sense. And to me, these days, it's like Labour that used to be left. Oh, that's stage right, isn't it? So I should say left for you there. Anyway, Labour that's supposed to be left and Conservatives that's right. To me these days it looks like they're like, I don't know, pissing in the same pot, or they cross over. I can't figure it out these days. But back in the day, various newspapers, they leaned this, they leaned that, and so the newspapers had decided that because both my parents were Conservatives, they had spawned little Conservatives, and that's not necessarily the case. I'm not saying I'm not Conservative, or I am, or I don't fucking know. Anyway, so I was big chew meat for the media, and Graham and I ran away together for a bit, which this is such a long story, which I won't bore you with. But I'd been on the run with Graham for about 2.5 years at this stage, and I'd had Faith. So Faith was a baby, and we're in Portugal, and I went to the supermarket. Graham had to go somewhere. I can't remember if he went to Gibraltar or he went to the United Kingdom, but he had to go away somewhere for work, okay? And I went to the supermarket, and some people, English people, expats, they looked at me and they laughed. And I thought, oh, wonder why they're laughing, you know, I've got something on my face. And I went into, it was Lidl, you know, I'm a class act, I like Lidl and Aldi. And there were other expats in the shop, and they sort of looked at me and were wink, wink, nudge, nudge, look, 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 look. And I thought, okay, starting to feel a little bit self-conscious here, but I'm sure I'm just being paranoid. And there were other pressures, of course, not just having a baby, fuck all money, living in a caravan, literally having fuck all. To lead on from the video on the Avid Gardener channel of I've never achieved anything in my life, apparently. Never lived under any pressure like Manxie, who's, you know, of course, laid flat on her back, sucked a bit of God knows what and got a Netflix deal. Anyway, and then after I'd been to the Lidl with Samantha, as she was called then, but she changed her name to Faith, I went to our post box and there was a copy of the local free newspaper in English for expats. It was used to be called the Portugal News. I don't know if it exists these days. And I pull this out the post box, open it up, and there's a picture of my kipper, my face, full frontal, massive, on the front page. And the headline was, "Have you seen this woman?" And I thought, I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm losing my shit. And that's obviously why the people at Lidl were laughing at me, because they'd seen the newspaper. But they were far too polite to, I don't know, do any shit for it. I mean, these days there are trolls on X that are literally tagging police and dialing 999 going, arrest her, arrest her, arrest her now. You know, Stephen Wright from the Daily Mail, remember me, are you watching this right now? Probably, I don't know, probably not. So anyway, the pressure of it, you know, I thought, oh, fuck me, you know, if it couldn't get any worse. And we had a neighbour on the campsite called Roger, who was ex-police officer. He was a retired police officer. Now, I know this is hard for a lot of you to imagine, but I was slimmer, of course, younger, and some men fancied me, and Roger really fucking fancied me, and he made no secret of it, unashamedly, in front of Graham, all the time. And Roger was, Roger, if you ever see this, I'm so sorry, but I have to tell this story, and you know as well as I do this is true. Roger had worked for the police twice, Financial Times and the National Health Service. To give him credit, he actually resigned from the National Health Service because he was quite high up in admin, and he said, you know, the money that's being ripped off by admin is outrageous, so he'd resigned. He'd worked for the Financial Times, didn't like them, and he'd gone back to the police. So he was constantly telling me and Graham about all his pensions. And I've got a budget. And he had these dogs as well. Oh, he had these little dogs. Lady, oh, Roger. And he was always, in those days, I was called Jackie. I went through a phase of changing my name frequently. I've had lots of different names. And at that point, for 10 years, I was called Jacqueline Susan Mayhew. It was on my passport, you know, it's totally legal. In England and Wales, you can change your name as many times as you like. And when I went on the run, my name was in Jacqueline Susan Mayhew, so my passport was in that. So everybody called me Jackie, everybody. When I got married to Graham, the registrar, Graham really wanted me to change my name back to Fiona, because he loved the name Fiona. I hated the name Fiona. And I was Jacqueline Susan Mayhew, and I said, no, I'll be Jacqueline Susan Hesketh. And he went, no, please be Fiona. And my mother came up with a compromise and said, why don't you call yourself Fiona Jacqueline Hesketh, so you don't lose the Jackie? And I was never bothered about the Susan. So we did that. Apparently it's a thing, you know, on a marriage certificate, you can, the registrar had to write it all itty bitty. Anyway, I'm getting off the story now. Roger was constantly coming sniffing around the caravan, you know, lady, Jackie, look at lady, Jackie. And he drove me fucking mental, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the run and I've got a fucking ex-police officer who lives next door who just won't leave me alone. He just won't fuck off. God forgive me, Roger, if you ever see this video. Anyway, so my face is all over the local fucking Portugal news, and Graham's away, and Roger's like, Jackie, going on and on and on. Oh, he wouldn't leave me alone. Anyway, Graham came back from wherever he'd gone, and I just lost my fucking shit one night. I just thought, what the fuck's going on, right? There are 3 suspects in my case. There's me and 2 men. And the 2 men, Steve Skerritt's done fuck all to the 2 men. But there's just me. I'm the bad guy. I was the brains behind it. I'm the one who's done everything, right? According to Steve Wright at the Daily Mail, and he was the least of my worries. I've got the fucking Guardian on my case, and the Observer, and the Telegraph, and some twat called Steve, what was his name now? Simon Reeves. I think he's some TV presenter. I don't know. Anyway, so there's always various articles coming out, and I'm looking on the internet going, oh my God, who the hell are they? They're talking about this like really cool woman who's like a cat who can scale walls and escapes from prison, and she done all this shit, and she this, she that, she the other. And I'm like, oh my God, how much worse can it get? Anyway, I lost my shit. I stripped stark bollock naked. And I ran out that caravan, middle of the night, must have been midnight, and the grass was long. Roger's caravan, it wasn't exactly next door, it was like 100 metres away from ours. I stripped off naked, ran, caravan door burst open. I run across and I threw myself down into the long grass, face up like that, in a starfish type thing. And I screamed to the heavens, I'm Fiona Munt and I'm Britain's most wanted. Come and arrest me now. Anyway, Graham, bless him. He strode out the caravan, he came over, he got me by the wrist and he went, get up now, you are making a scene. And I was like, no, I'm not moving. He went, get up. Roger's curtains are twitching. Anyway, then I looked and I saw Roger's little caravan. So I got up. I don't think Graham even had a coat. He just went, get inside the caravan now. You are making a scene. Oh dear. I thought that might amuse you knowing that story. I don't care who knows it. It's true. It happened. And then I figured out that Praia de Luz is full of fucking, strange people. And I felt our daughter was going to be snatched. And that was the year 2003. And so I said to Graham, we moved, there are 2 campsites in Praia de Luz, and we were on both of it was the second one. I did this running stark naked. And there'd been like gitanos, gypsies, prowling, looking for blonde kids and stuff. And then we moved to another campsite, which was the equivalent of Land's End in Cornwall, like the furthest end you can get in the Algarve, right on the edge of, called, what's the name of it now? It was something like Zabal. I can't remember now. Anyway, we moved there and I spoke to the guy who owned the campsite and I said, that Praia de Luz is full of people who want to steal little kids for money. And he was from Madeira and he said to me, oh yes, it's very well known, Praia de Luz, for snatching kids. He said, especially blonde kids, and your daughter's blonde. And I told him, we'd had problems. And then on his campsite, the GNR came and they wanted to snatch our little Faith. But I come out the caravan like a big poisonous spider going, what the fuck? And they skidded off. And I said to Graham, I don't care if I'm wanted. I don't care if I go to prison. I'm going back. I'll do a test flight on my own, and I'll fly back for 24 hours, see how wanted I am, and then if they arrest me at gunpoint, fair enough, don't want Faith seeing all that, and if they don't, they don't, and then we're going to move back to the UK because I don't feel this area is safe, and that was the end of the story. But I remember Graham saying to me, thank God the Daily Mail didn't have any pictures of you running out the caravan stark naked. I know I was stark naked. I was literally not wearing a stitch. Oh, there's so many stories I could tell you about being on the run. Anyway, thought you might enjoy that one. So I shall upload this on Graham's channel for what it's worth. Answer me this. Come on, be honest. Be honest, guys. It's not just me and Prince Harry. Surely not. Have you ever gone stark naked? Thank you very much for listening. Good night, and may your God go with you.